Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Art of Braids podcast. I'm your host, Karen Tenard, and I'm so excited about today's guest. We're talking about a topic a lot of people don't really talk about, but they should, and it is the importance of licensing. And today's guest is Debra Hare-Bey, founder of the International I Love Braids Day, which is on July 29th. And since today's topic is about the importance of licensing, who better to talk about it, especially within the braid community? Um, I I end up going to cosmetology school and getting my license on everything. Like I just really wanted to know and get the credentials. I always did my braids, I always did people hair, but I felt like there was something missing, especially the education. And I would go to other places and see people do people hair, and I would be like, yeah, they're not licensed, or they're not doing it right, or they're not educating their clients as much as I was doing. But then came along, I ended up running into someone who was advocating about the International I Love Braids Day, and was like, Karen, you need to meet this the lady who founded this. And I'm like, okay. And then the whole correlation behind it, and setting up and being an advocate about like licensing and making sure that people understand the importance behind it, and led me to the guest that we are about to talk about. So I'm not going to let us wait any longer. I'm going to welcome Debra. So thank you so much, Debra, for agreeing to sit on the podcast and kind of share your expertise on this topic, this much needed topic. Um, I actually don't know you as much as my audience doesn't know you. I know about you.
Mhm.
But please, I would love for you to take this time to kind of like share your story and what it is you do in your business.
Sure. So my name is Debra Hare-Bey. I am the founder of International I Love Braids Day. It is the beauty design. Um, it's a full day to celebrate all the things we love about braids, right? Beauty design, the history, the culture. So that's on July 29th. I'm also the CEO of Om Inc., a lifestyle brand focused on vegan products and vegan hair care. So I'm excited to talk to you today. And we have a really full conversation centered around licensure. So let's get into it.
Yeah, okay. And you're really the hair bag. Okay,
I
so
really am the hair bay. Yes.
so yeah, all right, let's get into the topic at hand. So what is licensing in the beauty and natural hair industry, and why is it so important?
So let me go back a little bit. Let me tell you that I'm one of the founding members of the Natural Hair and Braid Coalition. And we are a coalition that is about the business of keeping our community um, in the we're about keeping our community. It's almost like there is compliance. That's the word, right? It's
Mhm.
almost like we are the compliance of the natural hair care, texture, and braid industry. And we want to make sure that all the things that are required and necessary are happening. Why? Because licensure in health, healthy hair care, healthy scalp, technique, processes, all those things are important. And they're important because we interface with the public and we want to make sure that the public is safe. We want to make sure that we're safe, right? And so
Mhm.
lots of times, we're doing these hairstyles and managing people's hair and managing um, those things that will help keep our clients' hair and scalp healthy. And as you know, going to cosmetology school, there are lots of things to know. And if you
Yes,
don't go to school, you don't know what you don't know,
this
right?
is
So you
true.
don't know how to spot a disorder. You don't know how to spot when there's something horribly wrong with your client's scalp, or when you're applying tension and it's too much. You may not even know that alopecia is a thing. That's a real thing. that is now the number one thing happening in our community in terms of harmful hair care. And alopecia actually can be caused by many different things. However, one of the things that we're focusing on is making sure that people are not over directing the hair and stressing the hair and pulling hair out, right? So
Mm,
there's so much going on in our industry.
right. And that's exactly why it's important to be licensed, because it was like, and there's also things with like medication when you learn in
Yes.
education, when if someone's on a specific thing that can cause hair loss or weakened follicles, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And if you're not educated, you'd be thinking, oh no, I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna use
Yes.
that, and it's like no, like it's so much deeper than that. Okay, so since you do you're part of you're one of the founding members of
Yes.
the Hair
Natural
Coalition.
Hair Braid Coalition. Yes.
How does licensing ensure the health and safety of the customers in beauty and natural hair salons?
How? Training, right? That's the whole point of getting your license, right? It is an opportunity to go through the steps, whether it is from the scientific, right? Part of how you approach hair and how you approach strands in your scalp, or it's technical, right? Where you're actually learning application, right? You're learning about products, you're learning about interfacing with the customer, you're learning about the business aspect of it. So licensure is very important.
Mhm. And what are the consequences of operating a business or natural hair salon without licenses?
Mhm.
Because we know
So just
what
like,
the
go ahead, my dear, I don't want to cut you off.
No, I was gonna say, so we know the benefits of having it and why it's important, but some people be like, oh, what are the ramifications of not having a license?
Education, lack of it, right? So we all know how to braid. That's not the point, right? Because school didn't teach me how to braid. I was self-taught, right? And along the way, I picked up things like we all do. You practice, right? However, when you are not licensed, you don't know how to properly handle your business, right? And so it really is about empowering yourself, right? And so when you take that part out of your profession, it then becomes a hobby, right? So, in addition to not being able to make it a full career because you're not properly licensed, if you are interfacing with customers in New York, and each state is different, that is against the law. You may not touch someone's head in terms of hairstyling in New York City. So that's against the law,
Mm,
right? You
yeah.
can't apply for insurance. You can't do a lot of things without a license, right? You can't advance your family. You can't advance your self. There are no taxes that you get a chance to show because you're not filing your taxes, right? So
Mhm.
there are a plethora of ramifications when you do not go and apply for your license. And obviously, those are states that have the license, right? Because not all states require you to have a license.
Right. There you go. Okay. New
Mm-hmm.
York, if you're based out
Mm-hmm.
in New York, please know that that is very necessary. That's needed,
The
and you
law
would,
since the 90s, mind you.
mm, but was
Yes.
never like so much enforced. Now it's being enforced.
Okay. So yes, the license has been in effect in the 90s, and you're right. We did have to, and we do have to really do some things to continue to make people aware of it. And we're actually working on it right now to make it easier to get your license. And there are many different ways that we're doing it. I would ask your listeners to please go to the Natural Hair Braid Coalition IG page. On the IG page, you'll find a wealth of information. There is what's the word? My mind. I have so much on my mind, and my words are slipping me.
Mm,
Um, a survey that we really need you to take. But in addition to the survey, there's just a lot of information in our link tree. So use that opportunity to really find out what's going on within the industry, because it's coming from the people that are within the industry. We're all powerhouses working in the industry and have been working in the industry for many years.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
Yeah.
And okay, so when it comes to now knowing the outlets and giving people the opportunity to kind of like make it easier for them to get licenses, um, you already like answered the follow-up question. In what ways can the beauty and hair industry work to promote the importance, as far as like work to promote? I feel like you are already establishing that, the importance of licensing among professionals and
Mm-hmm.
consumers.
Mm-hmm. And so, the Natural Hair and Braid Coalition, we're advocates, and we've been advocates in the natural hair texture and braid space. We want to make sure that people understand why licensure is important. We want to make sure that we are directing you in the many different ways that you can become licensed, whether in the past it has been a language barrier, whether it was a financial barrier, whether it was you just didn't even know that there was a license required. And so all of those things that are prohibitive from getting the license, we are actively working on that to invite and make sure that it's a full opportunity for everyone, for those that want to become licensed, that is not prohibitive, that you
Mm,
can, in fact, get your license. We've lessened, in some case, some of the hours. And so there are different pathways for people to become licensed.
okay. Um, so this would be one of the journey questions would be,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any tools or resources that you have used to help you in your entrepreneurial journey?
Tools and resources to help me in my entrepreneurship journey. Tools and resources. I will tell you, and this has really been hitting home for me. Your tribe, your friends, your um, sisters. I used them in the past for support. I used them in the past to share information, to share knowledge, to teach each other. And so that's a wonderful resource, because in actuality, you can't do it by yourself. You really do need the help of your community, those that really care about you. It's a wonderful support mechanism when it gets hard, that you have someone to lean on. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So look at those um, businesses that you think are doing it in the way that you want to do it, and you mirror that. You don't become them, but you
Mm,
use it as an example of the things to do, how to
okay.
conduct yourself, how they're moving in that space. So those are some of the tools that I use. In research, I research everything, right? The industry that I decided to be in, I wanted to know it backwards and forwards. I wanted to know the ins and outs of what I was getting into. I wanted to know about my industry, so that when it came time to actually work in my industry, I knew exactly what I was talking about.
That makes total sense. And it is like you can't really enter a industry without being passionate about it. And passionate means sitting down and researching, making sure you have the ins and outs down pack, your I's
Right.
dotted and your T's crossed. So yes,
Absolutely.
so thank you for that.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so before we wrap up, I like to ask the guests three fun questions,
Yes.
um, to keep to end on a positive high. So it would
Yes.
be, what is your favorite what is your favorite go-to braided hairstyle and why? Is there a book that you can recommend that would be great for a starting entrepreneur?
Yes.
And are there any new products, projects, or events that you would like to give us the tea on?
Yes. 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 So, I if anyone's remember with the sitcom Living Single, Erica Alexander was my client for many years, and she wore her hair in yarn, which people didn't know at the time that's what it was. So yarn as a chosen hairstyle, which is what I have in my hair now, is my absolute favorite thing. And I love it because it is extremely durable. Oftentimes you hear women talking about not being able to get in the water and go swimming and enjoying, water activities. That is not a thing with yarn. It holds up very well. You can go swimming and you can wash it as often as you like. So that is my go-to hairstyle. My favorite, um, what was the other one? I know it was about,
A book.
um,
So is there any book that you can recommend
yeah,
for
of course
starting?
there is. So this book was, there's two. One book was written by Diane Bailey, and it is the industry um, manual for hair care. If you give me a second, because I am not remembering it at the moment, I'm going to give you the name of it. And then there is Diane DaCosta. She has a book as well. So those two authors are industry leaders. They advocate in the natural hair braiding texture space. They have both written books that are phenomenal, and they are a must read if you want to find out, all of the pertinent information about the natural hair space, braids, and texture.
Okay.
And then what was the last one? Because there was three questions.
Yes. So it is, are there any new products, projects, or events that you would like to give us a tea
Talk
on?
about, of
Mhm.
course. So International Island Braids Day is coming up, and that's what we started the interview with. It is July 29th. It is about the history, design, the beauty, and culture of braids. It says international because it is a show that travels. We'll be back in Brooklyn, New York, right in Bed-Stuy. So I just literally did a post on my IG page with the excitement of being back in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is probably the largest amount of women wearing braids outside of Africa in Harlem, right? So it's like coming home. I was born and raised in Bed-Stuy. This is where braiding started for me. So it's only befitting that we're back where it started with so much, um, so much to see, so much to learn. The Natural Hair and Braid Coalition will be there. We have Stilt Walker. We have live mannequin models. We have a live DJ. We have a panel discussion with all of the industry hot topics. It's so much happening, and it's free. What a better way to spend a Saturday,
Right.
right? July 29th. It is a family event. And in the past, I've witnessed full families. By that, I mean mama, daddy, grandma, the babies. They come out. It's such a wonderful event. So I encourage everyone to stay tuned. The tickets will be dropping soon. As I said, they are free. And you can always find tickets at O as in OH, myheavenlyhair.com, or on my IG page at INTL, I Love Braids Day.
Okay. So I was gonna
Yeah.
ask, how can anyone find you and support you, but you kind of like put that
Yeah.
there.
Yes, I
Um,
did.
but thank you. And I feel like that's where a lot of braiders should definitely be, especially in New York. Wherever there's braids, we have like our curls and things like
Yes.
that. But braids is something that is, for me, is like foundation
Oh,
for
absolutely.
everything. So yeah. So everybody, please, please, please go check out the books by Diane Bailey and Diane DaCosta. That was recommended by
Yes.
Debra Hare-Bey.
Yes.
And okay, so we have Yawn is your braided go-to style.
Yes. Yes, it
The
is.
the two books, and then July 29th, you will be back in Brooklyn as far as the
Yes.
International I Love Braid Day. So everybody look out for that.
Yes. Can I just share the book? So it is the Milady textbook. That's Diane Bailey. And then Diane DaCosta wrote a book on textures. I believe that is, if that's not the full name, that is certainly in the name of her book. So
So
there you
it's
have it.
Milady.
Yes. So it's the Milady standard textbook. And it looks like this.
Oh, okay. Okay. Standard text. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the next book, sorry, was,
Diane DaCosta. I'm gonna go right to our page and I'm gonna look at it right now.
you said texture.
I believe it has texture in it because she is the texture queen. Let's see. You know what? I don't immediately see it on her website, but please look up her name. Her book will come up as many of the other things that she is so brilliantly working on and has worked on.
Okay. Yeah, definitely I could look that up. So thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for making time out of your schedule to sit
Yeah.
with me and talk about the importance of braids. And I know this is something that you kind of like live and breathe.
Oh, I
How
do.
so thank you. Everybody, you can find Debra Hare-Bey on Instagram. You could follow her site. I will definitely be linking that in the show notes and on our pages at International I Love Braids
Braids
Day.
Day.
Um,
BLC.
VLC.
Yes.
And and also go to the website as well, as far as your website. Because
Yes.
yeah, I was like, is it a separate company for your vegan products, vegan hair products?
It is not. It's everything is under the OM brand, including International I Love Braids Day. So OM presents International I Love Braids Day. And OM under the lifestyle brand does have the vegan spa collection. And that's the vegan products that range from head to toes and
Ooh,
everything in between. Yeah.
okay, we got hair all over our body, so it makes sense.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, Debra Hare-Bey.
It went far too fast, my dear. I so enjoyed speaking with you today.
Same. And all the audience, everybody who's listening, thank you so much. This is your host. I'm your host, Karen Tenord, and you're sitting with and hearing from Debra Hare-Bey. Thank you again, and please connect. Listen, such an amazing interview. To get more info, go to kaidetres.com/podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you got a lot from today. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and show back up. Okay, see you in a bit.